Hi everyone, Flavia here, and I am back with my live talk shows. I haven't been here in a while, but today it's about antique and vintage jewelry. Today I have a special guest. Many people are actually interested and fascinated about antique and old objects that have been around since, I don't know, bygone eras. Classic cars, we can think of master paintings, and of course, we must think of antique jewelry. And this is our subject today, antique jewelry and vintage jewelry. And I have invited Ishi Antiques from London and the founder of Ishi Antiques, Ismail. Hi, thank you for coming here. I have a request, so I'm gonna invite you in. Okay, you are here. Yay! Hi, Ismail.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to finally meet you, actually.
Hi.
I know.
We've
I
missed
have
each other in London
sparkles.
a few times. How are you? Yeah, I don't.
It's fine. You are
Sorry, the
home, so
lighting's
you are
quite bad at
home
home.
today. Unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. There's some tube strikes in London, so it makes it quite
Oh,
impossible to get into work
it's
today.
fine.
So
It's fine.
decided to work
As
from
long
home.
as you are here with us and you share with us your story and
Yeah,
everything. I'm so excited. Yeah, you are here. Actually, I remember since the pandemic started, we were talking, right? So we were, yeah,
yeah. It's been a few years actually. So I think you were doing
a
your
GIA, a
studies
design.
in
Yes.
MA or GIA. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay,
since then,
perfect.
so it's been a few years now.
Nice. Okay, Ismail, tell me, how did you actually enter into this world of jewelry, and especially why you choose antique and you choose vintage jewelry and not just, modern jewelry? What was the draw? What was the important, thing that draw you into this world?
Sure. So I think a lot of us were quite interested in like archaeology, ancient Egypt growing up, and that was one of those things that I was really like interested in. I loved learning about it. I actually wanted to become an archaeologist when I was a lot younger, and then I think being interested in old thing like the treasure hunting that always stuck with me. So as I got older, I was like reading and learning more about it. I started buying and selling smaller pieces. I used to do like car we
Okay.
call them car boot sales, like flea markets. I was like 15, 16, and then alongside my career at university and after that I was buying and selling on Etsy and selling to people in my office. And then someone was like, why don't you start an Instagram? And then I think that was about 8 years ago. So I started on Instagram, and it was quite a small community back then. And yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there, really. After a few years, it got to the stage where I was lucky enough to be able to leave my job full time and do this full time. So that was about 6 years ago now, I think. In April, it'll be about 6 years. So yeah, that's how it kind of all started. So it was a childhood enthusiasm for it, and it just, I don't know, growing up and realizing you could buy these things that were quite old and
Fascinating.
interesting, and
Yes.
actually be able to, yeah, see these things
Yeah.
that have
So
history and
nice,
have been around
beautiful.
for so many
I
years.
mean, we all have this, everybody that is in jewelry can say that first of all, they entered into this business because of passion. And it's true. We are doing this because we love jewelry. And it's nice that you started since you were a child. And actually, this was my last question for you about the hunting. But because you actually mention it right now, I'm so curious. How is the hunting for this amazing
Yeah.
jewelry? Do you hunt around the world? What are you doing? So, or how is it?
It's fun. I mean, I think a lot of people that do this, we always talk about how you're never bored. You're always like, it's always that like intrinsic desire to find something, and like even if you're on a holiday with your best mates and
Yeah.
stuff, you're like, oh, you'll see an old shop or an old market, and you're like, let's see what we can find. Um, I mainly source in London, so I don't do too much traveling around the country. Or I'm lucky enough to have built up quite a few good contacts, and So where I am is in Hatton Garden, so that's like the jewelry centre of London. So I have contacts there that I buy from. Each weekend, I will go to Portobello Market again through the people that I know there. That's a good source to find things. And yeah, so when I do shows abroad in America with Pat from Lowther Antiques, and that's 4 times a year in America, but we tend not to find too much there because it's very specific and there's a lot more modern jewelry, or the antique jewelry there is of a like another level, so it's like 20, 30,
Yes.
40,000 pounds and stuff, and that's not really the price point I deal in. So yeah, but we're always looking.
Okay,
we're always
I
like out there
understand.
trying
Yes,
to find
true.
things.
So yeah, the antique jewelry that you can find all over the world, of course, it's going to be the one that it's really it has a
Yeah,
different price range. So yeah,
yeah, and it's quite interesting. The stuff you find in America is a completely different style to what we find in London or in the UK, and yeah, it's kind of my taste level's been centered around
more
what I've always seen
important.
and what I like, and that's more what I
Perfect.
find here.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Amazing. Can I
so
join to this treasure hunt? I want to.
yes, of course. Whenever you want, I'll take you around. Like, just let me know when you're free, because it is fun to go around and see how it works. And I mean, each year I do this, I find new sources. I mean, yes, this week I got introduced to people that have been in
Wow.
Hatton Garden for years, and I didn't even know they existed there. I found like stuff that gemstone suppliers. There's so many different people doing so many things, and it takes, even now, it's still, you have to be in the trade, you have
Yes.
to know the right people, you get introduced, so it takes a long time to get like accepted and to
Exactly.
build up that
Yeah, build up
reputation,
the
and
reputation and
yeah,
just
be trusted.
networking and knowing and developing and growing and growing and
Yes,
and also finding your niche, because it's exactly as you said, something that you treasure and you love and you appreciate, and that's what you want to offer to people, so to other people. Nice, amazing. I want to say hi to a few people here that I've seen. I've seen Canel, she's an amazing French designer. She has these amazing high-end jewelry pieces. Hi, Canel, thank you for joining us. And I think Marjorie from Singapore, from Hong Kong, she's here as well. And I think your friends as well.
yeah,
Thank you,
there's so few
Canel, for being
people.
here. Ah, so kind. Um, yes, maybe one day you will meet as well. She has amazing talent.
Yes.
Yes, I wanted to say hi to all of them. And now to move on, well, I asked you how you started. Now I want to ask, I think everybody asks you this. I mean, it's the natural first questions. What's the difference between vintage and antique jewelry? That,
So
yes,
it's actually just based on the age. So I think I think some websites, when you're listing, they define it
a
as if
hundred.
it's
Yes,
older than 100 years, it's considered antique, and if it's up over 20 years old, it's considered
yes.
vintage. So I know, for example, when you list on Etsy, it has to be at least, if you're describing it as vintage, it's over 20 years old. So I think it's just
Based on how
like
old? Yes,
based on how
and
old the piece is. Yeah. I think from the 80s, 70s, those would be considered vintage. If it's now like the Art Deco period, 1920s
yes,
and earlier,
beautiful.
is
Thank
considered
you for
antique.
that. Do you have any pieces with you
Sorry?
that, even though you are home, and I'm so sorry, do you have anything that you can show
Yeah,
us
I,
from?
of course. Yesterday I was like, I'll just work from home tomorrow, so I took a couple of pieces home. I don't know
Yes.
how easy. I'll just hold them in front of the camera. So this is the first thing that I'll be posting this later on today. I don't know if
I
you can
can. I mean, I don't know how
see
they
it
say it,
clearly,
because for me it's
but
kind of dark here, but
yeah, yeah. Sorry, the lighting's not great at home. I'm sorry, and I put the other one on, but it was too much camera glare. So this is a
old cut
5 carat
diamond.
old cut diamond, and yeah, it's a beautiful pear shape. We found it yesterday, and I was very lucky. So I share a space with Tano, Gaetano Cavetta. He's an incredible antique jeweler, and we have a space in the office. So he very kindly, in about 3 or 4 hours, rustled up a beautiful antique inspired setting for it. So I'll put a picture up of it later on my feed, but it's a really lovely old cut pear shaped stone in a silver Georgian style setting. So that's coming. This is something else that I found yesterday, actually. It's a beautiful, yeah, it's old cut diamonds in silver, and I think it's something from a larger piece that was turned into a brooch. So the back is
it's
a bit
redone.
later.
Okay.
And it's,
Perfect.
yeah. So I don't know what originally might have been, like from a hairpin, like a barrette, or it could have been like a bracelet, and it was turned into a brooch to make it a bit more wearable for whoever last owned it. But it's just beautiful early work.
Love this
like
one.
Lots of different
this is like an
diamond
Art
shapes and cuts
Nouveau
and stuff.
piece, more.
I think this is actually the front of it is probably 1840s. It's late Georgian, early Victorian stuff. And then the last thing I actually had with me, because I was going to post this as well today, these are actually something I found in Miami, and I had to get them certified, and they've just come back from certification, so it takes a little bit of time to get everything checked. But these are star sapphire,
so elegant, so nicely
star sapphire
arranged.
Like, yeah, I'm really sorry about the camera, but yeah, and they display like a star across the cabochon sapphire.
Oh, those are new, fresh ones. You see, we are we are seeing something new that you haven't seen on your feed. Beautiful. I love star sapphires, and they're so rare and beautiful. And the phenomenon gemstones are always the sought after ones, right? Different. Yeah,
it's
nice
just
not a cut, a normal cut.
Yeah,
gemstone. It's just naturally beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Now that we are on this and you are showing me, tell me a little bit about how great of investment is antique and vintage jewelry, comparing with modern, or just without the comparison with the modern one.
So I think I guess it depends where you find it or what you pay for something. So I believe it's a good investment just based on how much the prices have changed in the past few years. I understand there's a lot of different factors playing into that. So Brexit was a reason. So there hasn't, and even COVID, there's not been a lot of travel or movement. So the supply chain has kind of stopped. So I know other dealers have talked about this, but finding things has become a lot harder. If you're buying stuff in Europe now, you pay 20% to bring it back to the UK. So the costs are higher. So based on that, things have gone up in price. I guess COVID affecting manufacturing times and supply chain of diamonds and all that kind of stuff, that's led to an increase in prices. So if you've bought stuff in the past, it's definitely increased in value, but it's difficult to predict what trends are going to come, what becomes popular all of a sudden. So we've seen over the past few years, like snake jewelry is always popular, items with like skull motifs, that kind of thing.
Even the enamel jewelry and bubblegum ones, right? Or yeah.
Yeah. Intaglios and carved gemstones at the moment are becoming very popular. Like a few years ago, you couldn't really, I mean, you could sell them, but they weren't as desirable as they are now. So a lot of it is based on trends. Someone's mentioning like zodiac signs and stuff, like zodiac jewelry, things with meaning, like symbolism, charms. A lot of those things are very popular at the moment.
Initial letters, all that, right?
Antique jewelry, definitely, yeah. If it speaks to someone, it's always going to be scarce. It's getting harder and harder to find things. So naturally, I think the value will go up. I think it's important to buy things that you like rather than think that it's going to be going up in value. But I mean, on the whole, what I see things, it's a sensible investment. And I don't want to talk down on modern jewelry because there's so much beautiful modern jewelry, but when you look at the price points and you see the difference and what you can get, it's, for me,
More
the antique
value to
jewelry
it.
definitely has like a advantage in terms of, yes, yeah, that's what I see. And even like, for example, we'll talk about like a big brand because it's less like so Tiffany, I
I
found
saw
like a
that.
vintage
I
chain
think I
from
saw
Tiffany
something.
recently, and definitely, but that was like handmade. Even though it was silver, it's handmade in the 1990s. And now you look at the jewelry that's being produced, it's kind of more mass produced. It's casts, molds. It doesn't have that
Master
same level of
craftsmanship and detailed,
care.
really in
Definitely.
detail
So
worked. And yes, I know that's what I wanted to
yeah.
actually point.
So when you're buying modern jewelry that's handcrafted and artisan made, that's completely different. You're paying for someone's time, expertise. But I think when it comes to branding and you're talking about the huge brands, if you're not buying the like haute couture, really special fine pieces, then that's where it becomes more of you're buying a
Yes.
name, and that's
Yeah, it
that's
could
where
be. It
maybe
could
there's
be. And
less value
especially
in
as
that.
you said, modern. It could be, I don't know, most of them they're in cast, made in cast, and vintage and antique jewelry. They are a lot of effort and time has been
Yeah,
put to create that masterpiece. And of
definitely.
course,
But
of
in the
course,
new stuff that's
you find
handmade and
that.
it's finely crafted,
You
that's
find
another
that,
story
but
completely.
exactly
Yeah,
like you said, you have to go through that process to actually understand every piece and understand every brand and to see which one also fits your aspirations and you like. It's a matter of taste at the end of the day. So yeah, okay,
yeah. I mean, I buy modern
me
jewelry as
too.
gifts and stuff. So I mean, we all do it. It's like if that's what someone you want to buy a gift for likes, that's what you buy. But if you're going in with the idea that this silver ring's going to be worth more in the future, it's not likely to be. But
Someone was
it's a
asking
personal choice.
about more about opals and pearls and moonstones, and I have seen on your feed a really beautiful opal
Yeah,
piece. Um, Maybe if we can touch
yeah.
that subject, as I see people are interested.
Yeah, definitely. They're all they're the three stones they've chosen are actually all kind of the softer gemstones. So moonstones, pearls, and opals. They're beautiful. They've all got their own different things that make them special. But they're all a little bit like you have to be a bit careful when you wear them. They're not for daily wear every single day. I would never advise
Engagement
anyone
ring,
to have
yeah,
one of
no.
those stones as like an engagement ring. We call it like occasion jewelry. So you wear it at special,
Yeah,
like you can wear it, but just look after it. Like you don't go to the gym, you don't wear it while you're doing housework.
careful.
You just have to be a bit more careful. Pearls, you have to make sure you don't get oil or perfume on them. You have to wipe them down. Just make sure that because
And
those
someone
things are
told me a
softer and
really
they do
nice,
get
interesting
damaged.
thing about pearls. The best thing you can do for them is wear them. You know, I love that
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
they
You have to
actually love the
keep
humidity
the
from the
luster.
air and all, and they love to be worn. And if you left them in your safe and you don't wear them like for, I don't know, 10 years, they might get, a different color. So it's like with all jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
wear them.
enjoy your jewelry. Yeah.
I really
You
love that piece of opal that you showed. Such a beautiful play of color
Yeah,
and
it was
such
a
a big
beautiful,
stone,
it was
5.5, I think.
yeah, it was over 5 carats, but like that was a phenomenal stone. It had like the
Okay,
Harlequin flash of I
Harlequin
wish I had it here to
pattern.
show
So
you.
for everybody to
Yeah,
know, it's one of the most sought after and one of the most valuable
yeah,
pattern in opals, in black opals, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, yes. And I think it's found in Australia, and now it's again when we're talking about investments and stuff like that's it's always been sought after, but now like alongside like gemstones
Yeah,
from Burma, Ceylon, Sri Lankan, those things that there's specific things that people are looking for.
beautiful. Do
But
you
yeah,
still
that
have it?
flash of color is very desirable.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's
on
just
hold. So
yeah, it's on
if
hold.
you if
We're
you
working
want
on it.
to to see to have a look at this opal, I advise you to. to ask Ismail, maybe
Thank
you're still gonna have it. Now,
you. Yeah,
I
we'll
want
see.
to touch another important subject. Now, if you are buying vintage or antique, you are considered a conservator more than a consumer. You are not buying new things, right? And you are supporting the market, and you are supporting the most important subject nowadays, sustainability. What's your opinion about this,
Yeah.
and how do you think the market has changed in the last years? And we are really trying to we are doing this effort, and we are reaching our goals in sustainability.
Yeah, so I would say when I talk to people who are looking for engagement rings or um, jewelry that they're going to keep as heirlooms, I would say 80% of the people I talk to are happy when they find out that the gemstone is on antique and it's not newly mined. So it does seem to be a thing that's on a lot of consumers and clients' minds. It's they do seem to care that they want something that's not brand new, that's not like contributing to like the
Yeah,
destruction of
and
habitats
nature and
or through mining or yeah, I mean, especially with diamonds, because now there's been a push towards lab diamonds, and one of the main things they use to advertise that is that it's conflict free and it's a better
no,
environmental
let's
step.
don't
I don't want
no,
to get into
because
whether it
it's a
is, or,
really
but
I don't
when
know.
you yeah, but if you're talking to a consumer and you tell them that like, look, this is great because it's not hurt a habitat or an
Yeah,
environment, like people care about that, and that's how they're getting to making sales based on lab diamonds. But I think there is something special to be said for like looking after things, taking them and like keeping them safe and like enjoying them. And it is important more and more often to have things that already exist rather than
yes.
have things that are mass manufactured and actually polluting.
It's very
And yeah, it
important.
does seem to
Yes,
be very
exactly.
important at the moment.
It's really important, and especially when you think that that piece of jewelry also was pre-owned by someone. I don't know. It could be someone important at one time. You know.
I know that's one of the things. I wish I knew where things came from.
Okay.
Like I get asked by people when I sell stuff, they're like, "Do you know anything where it came from?" And I'm like, "Well, I bought it from another dealer at a show or at at their shop and stuff. But I wish I knew, or like I can tell you like the clues that
Yeah.
point to how old it is or where it was made. But I wish I knew who owned it, because especially with a lot of this antique jewelry, when we're looking at these things and we're showing them and stuff, some of them are like you would have had to be very
True.
wealthy to have owned these things 100 or 200 years ago. Also, the world wasn't as populated back then, so like there was less people. There was only a few people that could access this stuff, so it is really likely that important people like did own this stuff, and
It's
it's just
lost.
sad
Yeah.
that it's often lost to the history of
But did
time, like
you?
who
I'm
owned it
curious.
or
Sorry.
where.
Did you ever had one piece that you actually knew you could trace? You could trace the provenance of that piece.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So with the mourning jewelry, when they have inscriptions and dates on them, you can look it up and you can find out where they were from, how like because it says the person's name and the age and then the date. So that way you can kind of research it and find out who it belonged to. I don't think I've had anything where it was. I don't know. I guess I can't recall
Okay.
anything. But you do, when you see auctions and stuff, and they say belong to this lady
Yes.
or this actress wore it 20 like in the 20th century. So I don't think I've had anything
Okay.
like that,
So
but you
that's
do
how they
occasionally
know.
see it.
Actually, is the inscription there, especially on the mooring jewelry. Yes. Okay. Now, interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Now I remember you've been
yeah,
recently to Miami. How was, did you find
yes,
anything
yeah,
there,
yeah.
or
In
I don't know,
January.
other people found you, or how was?
Yeah. So we exhibited there, so we took stuff to sell. It was quite. Um, there was like some issues with shipping and stuff, so we got our stock quite late. So normally there's a setup day and you can set your stand up and you can go look around, but it was quite rushed. We lost the first day, and there wasn't a lot of time to go around and see everyone else. I found like 3 things. 2 of them sold whilst I was there off the stand. The only thing that I have left is these
So
earrings
those are
today.
coming from Miami.
Yeah, these are the ones I got in Miami, but it took so long to get them certified, just because at the moment the labs in London are running a kind of a delay. So it took about a month to get them checked. Can we see again? So I finally have the certificate saying that.
And how is the back?
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Yeah, so it's kind of it's a lever back with a post. I think I need to research the name, but it's kind of dormeuse, or it's this is often seen in Russian style jewelry, but
okay, 14 karat gold and then silver on next to the gemstone.
So the diamonds, just to bring out the color of the diamonds, they used to use silver. Yeah, so again, in this one, before white gold was invented, silver darkens and oxidizes, and it's kind of a desirable trait to have the patina on it. But originally they would set the diamonds in white metal, which at the time was silver, because it makes the diamonds look bigger. We all makes them look whiter.
That's why many people switched from yellow gold to white gold to platinum, because it's actually enhancing that cold look of diamonds, right? That we are all looking for.
Yeah. But at the moment, everyone seems to want yellow gold. Yellow gold is definitely back in trend. Definitely, everyone's yellow gold.
We see. I'm not. I still like. I mean, I like rose gold.
Yeah, rose gold's always been popular, but I definitely noticed at the moment.
See, we have trends here. Ismael knows them all.
Yeah.
Very nice. Nice to so these earrings and the brooch, and what else you had? And so these ones, these 3 pieces, you're gonna advertise after. You're gonna post them and you're gonna show.
If I get time today. I've got to take the puppy for a walk. I'm at home today, so
mine too. Mine she's here. She's quiet now. So I'll take quiet. Hopefully.
I know.
Yes. Because then when she hears something, then she starts barking, and I'm like, no, not now.
Not now. Please let me work for 5 minutes. But yeah. So if I get some time, I'll post it. But it's been so dark
here as well. It's horrible. We should. Yeah. I know. I don't know when the summer comes, because it's horrible. It was snowing.
Every time there's a day, you see everyone outside, like especially in Hatton Garden, everyone's outside taking pictures of the jewelry when there's a sunny day.
Okay, so if you walk down in Hatton Garden, you're gonna find people with jewelry. Go there and try them on.
In their windows, and we're lucky in my office building we have a roof terrace, so it's a little bit safer than standing on the street.
I've been there when I was in London, but yeah, many people there have jewelry. Yeah. It's fascinating. Nice.
It's actually really interesting at the moment. There's a lot of new galleries opening in Hatton Garden, so I think there's 2 or 3. There seems to be a really nice uplift in people moving into the area. So I think for a long period, especially before the pandemic, we were worried that all the jewelry dealers were moving out. They were leaving the district. But based on how many new things are opening, it seems there's a little bit of a buzz, which is nice.
Jewelry, or they have other things, art and.
Yeah. So it's I guess maybe it's called an arcade in America. It's like a big shop, but there's loads of different units and different sellers inside it.
Like how do you call it? Now I don't have it either. Okay, I got it. Now I got it. I was thinking art galleries or things like jewelry galleries.
It's more like so it'll be like a big shopping center, but it's in New York on 47th Street, it's kind of the same. So you have these big arcades, and then inside there's lots of different people with
Oh, nice. So it's a
each
good time
individual
to
company.
visit you there and see some jewelry and people taking pictures of diamonds.
Yeah.
And fascinating, really nice,
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, I think I've asked you everything I wanted in a short time. Of course, I have many other questions, but some other time if you do ask a pleasure. And thank you for being here and
Thank
showing
you.
us the jewelry and telling us about you know, all the history and trends, even trends. We learned everything. Thank you so much, and I hope we can do this again.
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
nice to
Thank you
talk
for
to you
having
as
me. It was
well.
really nice speaking to you.
And everyone, if you are interested, please let us know if you like anything or if you have any other questions that we did not touch about antique vintage jewelry and opals and any other color gemstones and amazing gemstones that you are looking to purchase or just to know, ask us. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we're
okay.
always happy to help.
Tell me.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you as well.
No, I said
It
thank
was a
you so
pleasure
much.
and I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Perfect.
Me
Thank
too.
you.
All right.
And I will see you later. Bye, everyone.
Take
Bye.
care. All right. Take care.